Yeah, guys and girls, welcome back. So I'm going to be doing a couple of videos today on some talks and stuff. Anyway, I'm just looking on my phone on the Sony Xperia 10. Now, it is today, Monday 9th of March 2020. And I'm recording, I believe I'm recording this in 4K, so not HDR though, because this camera here, which is the Panasonic, I think it's like the Leica, or they call it Leica, anyway, it's the new camcorder I've been bought like a couple of weeks going back. Anyway, so today's topic, this camcorder here is got night vision on it, so basically I can take videos in the dark. Anyway, so yeah, for Monday 9th of March 2020, it's 6:13 right now at the time of this video, and I just want to do some news topics today on the new PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, which is supposed to be coming out, or Xbox One Series X, I don't know what they're supposed to be calling it. Anyway, so on today's episode, I've noticed something about it, and it's just come up on there. If I can find it, I've noticed, like, when you go across the screen and stuff, you go towards and you scroll across the right hand side of the screen, you'll notice like different articles about the PlayStation or the games consoles, all stuff on GTA 6. Well, I'll probably get to that. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go onto this screen over here. Anyway, topic: PS5 and Xbox Series X standout features may require you to buy a new TV. That is in today's topic. Now, if you guys and girls enjoy these videos, topic reviews, or on features and about the gaming and all that, do leave a like in the bottom, thumbs it up, press the notification button for some, like, of my videos when they come out, because for some reason, even when you subscribe to the channel, you're not guaranteed to actually sort of stay on there, because sometimes the algorithm messes the entire thing up. But for you to notice when my videos pop up, press the notification button, then suddenly it'll come up for you. Anyway, so today's thing: unlock the power of next gen gaming with a new TV technology, but beware of the pitfalls. Now, this is on polygon.com. This was done on the, when was this one done? March the 4th, so that was a few days going back. Let's have a look. Right, the debut of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X are still far enough in the future, about 8 months away. If the typical November time frame holds true again, that Sony and Microsoft respectively are holding their cards close to their vest. When it comes to fully unveiling the up-and-coming consoles, while we don't know a ton about the new devices, well, we don't actually know hardly anything about it. We don't know how it's going to perform in a way. We don't know what's going to happen. But obviously they've been telling about this new technology, the new AMD processors in there and all that. Or I think they got a name for it. I haven't read much into it, but to be honest, it looks like you can actually do 8K and 120 Hertz on there. But obviously, no one's got an 8K TV, and no one's going to have a 120 Hertz TV either. So if you could get a TV with both of them in it and all that, that's just going to be sort of expensive. And also, 8K TVs are not even like sort of mandatory yet in the UK. They're not mandatory, but not even they're not out for consumers to buy. While we don't know much about the new devices, we don't know they will likely spur millions of their owners to ask a question: do I need a new TV to make the most of all this video game power? So obviously, at the moment, not everyone's got a 4K TV either. We're not even past that sort of position yet where everyone's got one in the house. There's some people out there who've only got a 720p TV, or maybe even just still standard televisions, just standard TVs, not even like HD, just still standard. But they're still linking it up with HDMI using sort of just the standard cables into the back of your TV, and they're playing that way. So it's kind of like we're not even caught up yet in anywhere in the world. I mean, obviously, a lot of people now are starting to get into that 4K sort of thing because they have to invest into a new TV, especially with digital coming into it, where we've actually had to get a digital aerial put on the roof just so they could change over the TV because they got rid of that terrestrial sort of television, standard sort of TVs, and now they're like sort of people have to convert your terrestrial televisions, your ordinary aerial ones, into a digital form, but they have to do away. I think as old granddad, he got his TV changed over and put into a new one, didn't he? Because they had to change it over for the new TVs and stuff. So you can still see that we're still far behind when it comes to televisions in a sense, because not everyone can afford one. Let alone older people as well. Not everyone, older pensioners, get a lot of money. You think, okay, well, they get retirement money, they get a lot of money, or they've been to work, but for some reason they still can't afford it. I've noticed a lot more people going around, though, older people with all these tech phones and stuff, because you can pretty much do all of it on a telephone now, on your mobile phones, smartphones, watch TV on there, play the internet, use the games and stuff. And actually, VR is becoming more accessible than your normal cheap TVs. I mean, if you've got the Quest, for instance, guys and girls, the Oculus Quest, you can have your whole TV in that headset, and you don't even need a TV now. I mean, what's the point of us actually having a TV in our house when we can get these visors and put them over our heads, or things when you've got the TV already built inside? It's just amazing tech. And I think, to be honest, VR is going to be a really vital role this year, and in the next 20 years it's going to be a vital role, because we're going to eventually get rid of the TVs. I think they're going to die out eventually, and people are just going to have glasses where you just put them on and that's it. Yeah, that's all TV is inside these little glasses. They're getting smaller. I mean, we've got the Oculus Quest, we've got the HTC Vive, which are massive and they're heavy, but if you can actually make them smaller to fit as like normal glasses, just like this, and just put them on, and they're much lighter and they don't weigh so much, and you've got it all in that headset, and you've got the whole PC, you've got your whole entertainment system just all in that headset. Oh, it's just going to be a hell of a lot less strain on people. And you'll be able to play 8K stuff in it as well. I mean, if they could do it so you can have the PlayStation 5 connected to a VR headset externally, or Wi-Fi it over, and have it all running on just the headset itself, why would you need a TV? I'm just saying. So it says, we haven't yet seen detailed hardware specifications from Microsoft or Sony, but the information that the companies have revealed so far suggests they are designing their next-gen consoles for next-gen TVs. Yes, this is where we start getting into tech jargon. VRR, ALLM, 8K 120 Hertz. But these new features have the potential to be dramatic upgrades. For instance, 120 Hertz support means that a TV's refresh rate can display games and other content running at 120 frames per second, which is twice as fast as most consoles have been capable of until now. Yes, I mean, most TVs at the moment are just like 60 hertz, or 60 frames per second in hertz wise. So the majority now, like, that's the majority. That's actually sort of that is just your standard point. Now we are actually going even higher, and we're doubling our frame rates to 120, and then we've got 240, then you've got 520, and then you've got like 800, 600 hertz. I mean, 600 hertz is mostly for sports anyway. A lot of TVs anyway, like a lot of these TVs now have a sports mode, which has like 600 hertz or something refresh rate. I mean, refresh rate is about 600 hertz or something like that. So it just makes it nice and smooth. But that's not, I wouldn't say that's what you call a dedicated sort of hertz frame rate sort of thing. What they're on about, 120 hertz, not many TVs have that built in. Because the 600 hertz you can have on a TV is totally different to a 120 hertz PC monitor. I mean, I've got a monitor here by Samsung, and that's got I think it was like 144 hertz on it. Now it's much quicker. The horizontal frames go really fast. It's like 144 frames per second. So you get 144 in that 1 second. You get 144 frames going really quick. It's like 60 hertz, right? The 60 hertz you got. Well, at the moment is your standard. 50 is like sort of UK standard, and 60 hertz is like your American US version. Now what that is, like, really quickness. Now if you've got a 60 sort of, actually if you've got a 30 frames per second, that's going to be much slower, and you'll see it blurred a little bit. It'll be a bit blurry. Now when you've got a 60 hertz frame rate, you won't see as much of that blurring and stuff. That like quickness where your hands were trying to catch up. When you're moving like that, your hand is still catching up with the actual frames and stuff. So as the frames are already sort of, say if you've got a 60 hertz refresh rate and your hands are doing that real quick, you're going to see, I mean, obviously you'll see my hands going like that real quick. You can see like sort of lines going through it, like it's doing like many different things. So it's just trying to get the TV monitors to catch up with the frame rates, which will actually catch up with the games, which makes actually the games a lot smoother. You want that smoothness, you want that smoothness. But yeah, if we can get that, HDR is most important as well. I think, to be honest, high dynamic range is a hell of a lot better than 4K or higher res TVs and all that resolutions on TVs. I'd say probably 1080p HDR would be sufficient enough. If you can get a 1080p TV and have high dynamic range on it, HDR, where the colours are more brighter, the blacks are more blacker and darker, and the whites are more brighter and lighter and stuff, then that would be sweet. That's like more your sweet spot, but also get it at 144 or 240 frames per second. You can't go wrong. So it says here, the potential to be a dramatic upgrade. For instance, 120 Hz support means that a TV's refresh rate can display games, other content running at 120 frames per second, which is twice as fast as most consoles have been capable of until now. But the thing is, you're going to need hardware, basically a new TV, to do that, to be capable enough, powerful enough to do it. I mean, obviously you can have a high-end PC, right, and to do all this, but if you haven't got the hardware to actually play it on, then it's pointless. Plenty of people still don't own a 4K TV. Yes, there we go. So they still don't own a 4K TV, let alone an 8K display. So it would seem that the question of buying a new TV for the next gen consoles has an obvious answer: no. So they recommend don't get this console. But then again, you still get better quality, get a better picture, get better graphics. I mean, if you've got a 4K TV, let alone, you're still going to benefit from it. You're going to benefit from a more steadier frame rates. You're going to benefit from the resolution, which is lower down. Right, so yeah, you're going to have the better quality, better picture, better graphics on there. Because basically you won't need that sort of higher resolution, so it can downscale the resolution to the TV that you've got, which means then the rest of the graphics power is going to be powering up those games for you to have a better experience. It's going to be much smoother. It's like basically having, in a way you could say it's like having a Ferrari with all the high-tech stuff in it, or just actually a Ferrari with all the whole case but none of the power, and then just downgrading the power. Actually you have all the power, but they have a downgrade thing on it where you can just turn the Ferrari down on the settings to occupy for the speed that you need, because you can't take, say, one of the fastest cars and take it on the street with you on the main road, because I mean, how are you going to race your fastest car in the world, right, on a road when you can only do a certain amount of speed? So it's they're trying to say it's pointless for you guys and girls to actually buy one of those either cars or just try and get something that is suitable. But I'm still probably going to get the PlayStation 5. I think I'm still going to have great fun with it on the 4K HDR TV that I have now, because I've got an LG TV. It's a 49-inch one. I think I'm still going to benefit from it, whether or not it's bloody downgraded. The graphics won't be downgraded, but the resolution will be. And then they said there's other features, because I think there's because the one we got at the moment is what's it called, HDMI 2.0. Well, they reckon for 8K it's 2.1 on there, because that's basically the frequency or the bandwidth which could go through to actually play 8K stuff on it. But hang on, let's have a look. Here we go. Xbox Series X and PS5 hardware specifications. What we know, Sony. I'm going to go for Sony anyway. I'm going to go for the PlayStation. I love PlayStation. They usually have a lot of the best exclusive games. I mean, I'm not a fanboy of the PlayStation in any sort of way. I would actually have had the money, I'd probably get both. But because I want the exclusives and I want the best games possible, I would go for the PlayStation 5. Obviously, I think Microsoft at the moment are working on just to get the console out there, and then probably 1 to 2 years down the road get all the exclusive games onto the system. But that's going to take a long time. Obviously, you're going to be able to play your Xbox One games, your Xbox 360 games, or Xbox original games still, because they'll be backwards compatible. I know the PS5 is going to be supposed to be backwards compatible as well with PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 and 4, I believe, but don't quote me on it. But it's all going to be backwards compatible. You're going to have your VR headsets as well. VR headset will be compatible with it until they actually make the PSVR 2.0 headsets, which will be amazing in a way. Hopefully we have it wireless, so we don't actually have any wires in the house, because I'll tell you what, it's a bloody nightmare with the VR wires, all the connected, and then putting the headset over your head and then having the wire dangling around your neck. Sony and Microsoft are promising a similar capability for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, even if one system ends up shipping with more powerful components than the other. Both will allow for gaming at resolutions up to 8K. So obviously, if you want the best, guys and girls, then get the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, but also you'll have to fork out more money for a new TV, which means 8K HDR 10-bit or 10, yeah, I think it's 10-bit for 8K. It might be actually more, might be up to 16-bit for 8K, because I'm not too sure what the colours on 8K. I think it'd probably be double that. So if it's 10-bit, it'd probably be 20-bit. I don't know if that's how it works on 8K. Actually, because 8K is just the resolution compared with the color dynamics, so I'm not too sure what the color dynamics will be on sort of HDR, high dynamic range. But 8K, yeah, you're definitely going to need the best TV, or I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at the 8K TVs here. They've got a Samsung QLED HDR 3000 8K Ultra HD Smart TV 55-inch, and that's about just under £2,000. So compared to how much the Xbox One X Series X is going to be and PS5, I'm thinking you're going to be paying at least £1,000 for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. To date, Microsoft has been more forthcoming than Sony with details about its next-gen consoles. Microsoft debuted its next Xbox under the codename Project Scarlet with a trailer. I'm sure they're going to have two versions of the Xbox One Series X, or Xbox Series X, and the PS5. They'll probably bring two versions out. One which will be a lower spec, which you'll be able to do in 4K, at least 4K, 60 frames per second, HDR, the full whack, and then you'll have a higher end version which will be the 8K 120 Hz. And I'm pretty sure most people will be going for the high end one to have the best possibility. But be forewarned, guys and girls, you will have to upgrade your TVs to actually adequate for the graphic settings, for the resolution, for the frame rates, just so you can actually have the best gameplay on the system. So you'll be forking out a hell of a lot. Microsoft says that with 12 teraflops of graphics performance, twice that of the Xbox One X, which was released in late 2017, the Xbox Series X will target 4K at 60 FPS and will have the ability to reach 120 frames. Since E3, the company has been describing the console as having 8K capability, although it hasn't provided any details on that. Sony said last year that the PS5 will be able to output resolutions of up to 8K. So to be honest, what they're trying to say is, don't hold out and don't think that you're going to be playing games in 8K, but it's going to output at 8K, so you'll probably be able to watch Netflix in 8K, highest resolutions for films and TV shows and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just don't jump in the gun. I mean, obviously they did have Gran Turismo, the new one. It was like a remake, remastered version of, I think it was just called Gran Turismo Sport. Supposed to be coming out, I think, on the PS5, and it's going to have I think that's going to be in 8K. I think they did it last year or a couple of years gone back where they showed it running in 8K. Now whether it was running 8K on the PS5, we don't really know yet for sure, but do you know what, that's going to be insane. 8K on Gran Turismo. Whew. But most racing games anyway are going to actually have a better resolution because they're not even that demanding unless you're putting the amount of details in there. We'll be able to output resolutions up to 8K, deliver frame rates as high as 120 frames per second for 4K gaming, but I think it's probably going to be sort of checkerboard rendering, maybe 8K checkerboard rendering, which means basically if the frame rates can't get to 120 frames per second, some of the graphics will be taken away. So you'll basically get the graphics will be slightly like lower and just adequate for the frame rates. You'll probably have a performance mode on there or a graphics mode on there. So the graphics mode, basically, if you want the full graphics on there, the whole details, then the frame rate will drop down and you'll get a much lower, less performance. The performance of the systems will be a much downgrade on it. So I mean, it'll still be great, don't get me wrong. And then you'll have your performance. So if you wanted to have a better performance of the system, so your graphics settings, you'll have less performance. And then your performance, if you put the performance mode on, you'll have a lot less shinier graphics on there, because technically it has to cut something somewhere, so they have to checkerboard render the whole system. I mean, it's like they did with that one with that Horizon's Dawn. They did that with that as well. They had it up to like 1800p pixels or something, to 4K or something, almost like just under 2K or something. But nonetheless, you're still going to have a great experience, whatever it is. The key to this forward-looking technology lies in the HDMI port on the rear of both consoles. The Xbox Series X will have a HDMI 2.0, see what I mean? Not 2.0, 2.1 port. Microsoft confirmed recently while mentioning that the consoles will support gaming-oriented TV features, such as auto low latency mode, which is ALLM, variable refresh rate, VRR, both of them already available on the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X, although a few existing TVs can take advantage of them. As for the PS5, there's no word at this point on support for features like ALLM or VRR. The thing is, the PS5 will surely have a HDMI 2.1 port, as well as the latest specifications of HDMI standards. HDMI 2.0, 2.1 can deliver much more bandwidth than the older HDMI 2.0B, 48 gigabits per second from 18 gigabit per second, and accordingly it supports higher resolution frame rates of HDMI 2.0B cannot handle. 4K video at frame rates higher than 60 FPS, while HDMI 2.1 can comfortably support 4K at 120 FPS and 8K at 60 FPS. Well, if Sony is saying that the PS5 will be able to output 4K 120 video, then the console must have an HDMI 2.1 port. What does the HDMI support mean for the PS5 and Xbox Series X? The shift from 2.0 to HDMI 2.1 may not seem like a big deal going by the 10th place change in the version number, but it's a massive upgrade in all kinds of ways. They should have called it HDMI 3.0, honestly, this one said. The advent of HDMI 2.1 brings with it a number of improvements over the previous HDMI specifications, including features such as dynamic HDR, enhanced audio return channel, EARC, and the aforementioned ALLM and VRR. Auto low latency mode is a boon for gamers because it allows a device connected to a TV automatically enables the game mode, the common name for a suite of settings that minimize input latency. In the past, you'd have to manually turn on the game mode when using your TV for gaming, but all ALLM takes care of it, ensuring that whatever you're playing the game on your TV is displaying the game with the least image processing possible, and it works for every device. So say if you're watching a video, it turn the latency to the frequency for watching TV or sports, but if you're playing video games, it automatically adjusts that as well, so you don't need to do anything, so it automatically does itself. So that's a big improvement. I suppose that's why it's costing a lot in the first place. AK Adaptive Sync is the display technology that's been available in computer monitors for many years, but didn't debut in TVs until late in the past decade. VRR delivers a smooth gaming experience by eliminating screen tearing, which is associated with a game frame rate exceeding the display's refresh rate, and stuttering, which is associated with the frame rate dropping below the refresh rate. This is accomplished by varying the screen's refresh rate, hence the name, in accordance with the game's frame rate, so that they are always in sync. So that means no frame tearing, basically. Sometimes if you've got a PC and you're playing a video game or something, sometimes you see that frame rate tear where the screen will be a bit glitchy and stuff. That's due to sort of it not being in sync with the whole monitor and the screen and the game and stuff. So this will basically eliminate that, so you won't have any screen tearing at all. And it usually means, like, if you've got a graphics card and it's not capable to support the frame rates, and sometimes it's like a low-end card or something, you'll get frame tearing with the frame per second and all that, frames per second. The two other gaming and media oriented features of HDMI 2.1 are quick frame rate transport, QFT, quick media switching, QMS. The former reduces the display latency, the amount of time between the moment a GPU produces a frame and the moment it appears on screen, by increasing the speed at which frames are transmitted. The latter eliminates the jarring black screens that appear briefly when you switch between content at different frame rates, and the QMS relies on VRR to sync up the frames so you get a better video experience. But yeah, anyway, guys and girls, I'm going to finish off here. But yeah, if you guys and girls enjoyed the video for this episode, where is it? So today it is March the 9th. But yeah, if you guys and girls enjoyed this episode, do like, favourite, share, comment, subscribe. Also press the notification button at the below. It's a little bell button that will actually let you know when I upload more videos. I'm recording all this in 4K because I want the best possible sort of resolutions on here, because I think you guys and girls deserve it every time I'm doing videos. But yeah, cheers for watching. Stay safe, guys and girls, and I'll see you on the next episode.